I'm not I ain't ashamed to say this. I'm not the best rapper. You know what I'm saying? I can rap, you know what I'm saying? But it's like I I don't really just view myself as like I'm not even the best rapper in my crew. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. So it's like I gotta pick the beat that like I can get off on. And Danny told me this a long time ago. He said, I'm a body he said the beat ain't gonna body me. I'm a body the beat. And that really hit me. Sometimes I think back to that and I'm like, yeah, I'm not letting no beat body me. You know what I'm saying? I body beats.
Microphone check, 1, 2, what is this? It's the 5'7" assassin in the podcast business. I am your host, Rohan Patra, the rap music plug at your service. Here we are again at the end of a rainbow. Bruiser Brigade has been slowly but surely building a killer crew, catalog of work, and legacy for quite some time now. With us today, we have two of its rising stars, J.U.S, an entertaining and distinctly unique lyricist, producer, and engineer, and then we also have Squadda B, formerly of Main Attrakionz fame, who helped shape the dominating 2010s psychedelic cloud rap scene and is still innovating and pushing his craft to this day to new places as both a solo rapper and a producer. Together, they've created one of 2024's most wildly fun and entertaining records in Third Shift, an album that demands you play it back to back to back. And in this episode, they discuss life in the Bruiser Brigade, their strong creative synergy as a duo, the unique connection between Detroit and Oakland music, and their approach to creating this fantastic new record, Third Shift. The Rap Music Plug podcast presented by QLC TV is the remedy to the I don't have anything good to listen to problem. Through in-depth artist interviews, album reviews, and general rap commentary on the best that the underground rap scene has to offer, this is your one-stop shop to knowing what to add to your queue, play next, or pop into your record player. Welcome to the show. J.U.S, Squadda B, how you guys doing today?
What's up, my dog?
Doing good. What's good? What's good?
Good to be here with you, man.
Man,
Super
thank
good
you.
to be here, man. Finally made
Yeah,
it.
been bumping the hell out of this new record ever since it dropped, and it's really cool to see the positive reception. Like I was saying to both of you before we jumped on, like it's everyone that I know that's giving this album a chance is like very happy with it. And then you're even getting the critical acclaim, like the elusive best new music on Pitchfork, like that shit is not easy for indie rap. Seems like no one gets it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Wow.
Hey, we honor it. It's a privilege. You feel me?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like waking up and winning the lottery type stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that shit holds weight. I feel like Pitchfork still like the writers are solid, and I think I hope that kind of gets some new eyes on the record. But before getting into like, how you guys linked up and this new album, I want to talk a bit more about your backstory for those that may be unaware. So, starting with you, J.U.S, I understand that you previously were a recording engineer as well as a producer before these like later last few years been like focusing on putting out music with your own raps on it. What prompted this transition to kind of focusing on rap specifically as a rapper specifically?
Um, you know, I basically want to call it a fluke. You know what I'm saying? It was like I didn't have no really ambition to rap. You know what I mean? But it was the pandemic, number one, and then like we was just spending a lot of time in the studio, and I basically was just fucking around one night when my homeboy Black Noise he had put out an album, and we was just listening to his album. It was like we had a little album release party for him,
Is that
and
the
then
Oblivion one?
yeah, Oblivion,
Yeah,
yeah.
that one's nice.
Yeah,
That was the
sick
first time
record.
I heard that shit from him. Yeah, it
Yep,
was
that
nice.
that was the first time I had recorded on the mic in like over 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Maybe more than 10 years, bro. I hadn't like made my own song, And that night, that we had the Oblivion album release party, I looked at Black Noise. I was like, yo, turn the mic on, man. I'm about to start rapping, and it was kind of a joke. You know what I mean? If he would have just looked back and laughed at me, I would have laughed with him too. But he must have knew something that I didn't because he went upstairs and turned it on, and then the rest is kind of history.
So that was like so that exact moment was the first time you rapped like in public and shit in 10
Yeah, like
years.
maybe more than that. I used to rap as like a teenager. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I was rapping. You know what I mean? I always had like a little rap thing going on, but I gave it up like I don't know 2006, 2005, something like that. You know what I'm saying? I just stopped rapping. You know, every now and then I make a song or whatever, but I would never let nobody hear it type shit because I'm a studio rat. You know, me being the engineer, being in the studio all the time, I would play around a little bit, but literally like I hadn't even heard my own voice on the record in over 10 years when I did that first song for God Go through Jay-Z, Brown Noise, produced by Black Noise.
That's crazy, man. Shout out Black Noise. I didn't know he played that kind of role. Man, he's
Yeah,
sick too. Um
yeah.
and for you, so Squatter, like as Main Attractions kind of achieved a lot of critical success, built a quite a fan base, being one of the forefathers of like a very distinct wave of hip hop in the 2010s before you eventually went solo. Like your career has had quite a few chapters to it, and that first big chapter with Main Attraction was marked by ushering in that sound, having quite the influence. So now in this kind of latest chapter of your career, I'm curious to know like where your ambitions lie. Like what kind of impact do you hope to have right now in your career, and how does linking up with J.U.S and Bruiser Brigade fit into that equation?
It's really cool. Well, number one, I've been fucking with Danny Brown for over like 10 years now. So number one, it's really cool to like see who is over there because it's kind of like over the internet, you don't really know who's around like that. So like I never knew who was really around Danny Brown like that. Like I always would see Black Noise's name, I would see the Loopers and stuff. But up until J.U.S dropped his first album, I didn't really like know who J.U.S was, although I was knowing his work. And I knew a lot of his work. Like I know music that he was doing back in the day in Detroit. Like I've heard these songs and didn't know he had any involvement. And I've heard a verse from him and didn't know I heard a verse. So number
Mm.
one, linking up with J.U.S is like it's great. It's like a family reunion where you never met your cousins or something like that. It's like I just didn't know these people, and so it was very needed for me to know them, and in the capacity that I'm best at. Like I was a rapper mostly when I went out there and stuff. I was going out there to record on Dream Beaches beats, but meeting them, it just put me back in my element of like, damn, like I want to make music the way I made music, how I was in Main Attractions and shit. And it was just grinding, just like pulling the beats out and just grinding. And so these is people who put me back in that element. And that's like the best element to be in. But as far as like sounds and stuff like that, I'm still the same me. I just worked on just getting better beats. Like the one thing back in those days was like in the Main Attraction early days was just like there's so many good producers around. Like just in Oakland alone, like we was hyped to work with the mechanics. We was hyped to work with Sean T. We was hyped to work with the local artists, but we struck gold and didn't really it's not that we didn't take it serious, but it was like we struck gold, but we was around so many other masterminds that was like we want to work with they sound, we want to work with them. So I think today is more so a thing of like working with what I got versus running to go pay Zaytoven, you know what I mean, an unlisted amount of money and work with these different artists. Today it's more like just making sure I sound good because that's a part of what pushed me to work with Clams and all these other people was like I was on like my third year making beats, so it's really intimidating to work with like the greats. Like the greats is listening to you right now, and you on your third year doing this shit. So I kind of retreated and made beats every day. Like I always made beats every day. So getting with J.U.S has been like a chance to show that.
No, that's sick. Like yeah, it really sounds like you have like a creative like burst that's come back into your music, and you can hear it in the beats on this record. And it's fascinating to me when we speak about Bruiser Brigade that it's really interesting how there's such a large diversity in like where people are at age wise and the stage of their career wise. And it's really cool seeing the family camaraderie that I think may is very apparent. Um, and from what I gather with you, Squadda B, like it sounds like you only recently officially joined Bruiser Brigade. What inspired you to make that move?
I mean, if you would have asked me 10 years ago to do it, I would have been inspired back then. I think today is like I got to meet mostly everybody over there and they're incredibly talented. It's just like where else would I want to be? And I think I just never went out there. At the same time, I never went to Detroit. I would always run to Danny Brown in New York and places like this, Skywalker, kind of in the same places as Danny, and just over the internet type shit. So once I really started going out there on foot, like really being out there, that's when it just started making sense and it just kind of like accelerated.
Yeah, I mean, it naturally, like you said, makes sense. It would have made sense 10 years ago too. Like, I always
Shit.
think about Bruiser Brigade. I think about like fearless creativity, like just pushing the boundaries, whether it's like crazy vocal styles or like crazy out there sounds production wise. Like, you fit in that kind of cloth, like very, very clearly. And for you, JUS, as someone who was there in like the formative years of Bruiser Brigade, like, did you think at that time that you, the collective, like Danny, would succeed and grow it to this point, like a decade later, or is this in hindsight kind of like surprising to you?
No, I definitely I don't think it's a surprise at all. Like one thing about Danny, like he'll tell you something, and it just like you could blow him off if you want to, like, oh, this is gonna happen or this is gonna happen. Most times when somebody tell you like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, you be like, oh, oh, it might happen or whatever. But one thing about him, he whatever he put his mind to, he do. He kind of spoke all of this into existence, and it was like it's just every like day by day, month by month, year by year, we was knocking down all of these, milestones and barriers. You know what I mean? So it was like I definitely see where we at now. It was just a culmination of just staying with it. You know what I mean? And through his success, he inspired the rest of us. Like, yo, we could do it. If he could do it, we could do it. Type of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like ever since that initial kind of dump that Bruiser Brigade went on in like 2021 with God Goku Jay-Z, all the other records from Fat Ray, etc. It was like really impressive to see how coordinated that all was. Because
Mm-hmm.
like immediately it was like on Bandcamp, it was these like free tapes, and I myself and a lot of us, like listeners out there, weren't familiar with every single name that we were hearing, but it was certain such a quality level. Raffi was like producing like 90% of all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was just really impressed. And I think I've been just more and more impressed as things have gone on. And now this year, especially, like with Bruiser Wolf State, like a full studio record here, that was incredible. Now this one, like it's nice to see it transpire this way. I think there's a real plan, and it's cool to see, in the indie space.
Mm-hmm. We work pretty good in the studio together when we all get together. And I think like a lot of people like, oh, y'all had that, it kind of was like that coordinated drop, drop, drop. And I was like, that would just come from, we was literally like stuck in the house during the pandemic. Everybody hanged out at the studio together. People didn't really go nowhere. People didn't go home. People was just there for days and days. You got all the producers was over there, Black Noise, Skywalker, Raffi, Gully. You know what I'm saying? We had a lot of people just put on the beat. And then we had three studios working at the same time. So a lot of music got made in a short amount of time. And we was like, fuck it, we just gonna, put it out like that.
That's sick. And how did the overall kind of Bruiser Brigade crew and support influence the creation of Third Shift, either like creatively or behind the scenes?
Oh yeah, I mean, most of the crew is on there, you know what I mean? Only people I think ain't on there is Danny and Wolf. They're not on there. But we got joints with them. It's just, we just made the album the best way the album went, you know what I mean? I thought about hitting Danny up at the end, you know what I mean? Like, yo, get on this record for me right quick. But I feel like they was finna go on tour, or they was on tour at the time. I feel like they was finna go overseas for Caranta right when we was finishing it. And I was like, after I listened to the album a bunch of times, I'm like, it's good enough. It could stand on its own. I wish I had him on there, you know what I'm saying? I know he'd have blessed me, but you know what I mean? I'm like, fuck it, let's go. But so, and then, Wolf was, busy. They was on tour together, you know what I mean? So that's just the only reason they ain't on it. But working in the studio with Third Shift, like everybody else is basically represented on there, you know what I'm saying? Besides like on the beats, because Squadda did all the beats. But you got Fat Ray on there, you got the Loopers on there, you got Quentin the Mod the God on there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And like something again with Bruiser Brigade that I really like is that there's something unique that each and every one of you bring to the table. Like there's no kind of duplicate or redundancy on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And so from your both your perspectives, like what is it that you personally think that you bring that's like unique to the table to the Bruiser Brigade collective? Like what's that special sauce you bring?
I mean, I got the sauce. I don't know exactly what the sauce is. It'd be hard to explain, but I got the sauce. Just in the studio, I'm the Goku of the Pro Tools. So I could engineer. I could make the beat. I could write a little bit. I could be supportive. I could just stay there with you, give you a line. You know what I'm saying? I got the sauce in the studio. You know what I'm saying? It would be hard to explain exactly what it is, but whether I'm in there with Squadda or I'm in there with Danny or I'm in there with any one of the homies, I could lend some sauce. I'm pretty good. I feel like I'm pretty good to have in the studio with you when you're working. You know what I mean? That go for all the homies.
I like
Yeah,
that. Squatter, what about you?
I agree. I like to think, if anything, I like to think that I'm something like a Johnny Knoxville or something, kind of like somebody who like I'll do whatever, like whatever nobody else, like whatever they're not doing, this person not doing or whatever. And when I say not doing, it's not because of any reason. It could be any reason of like that's just not what I do. I'm not going to touch this thing. I'll go over there and do that part to make sure we got this, or to give a little diversity in the shit. And so like I really, it's still kind of early for me. I'm still getting to know everybody, but one thing I do know, like third shift type shit, like I'm down to wait. I'm down to sit down and wait. I mean, no matter how long it takes to get it done, I'm sitting down. We'll come in there and we'll work at any point in time. I'll take the bad mic. I'll take, you know what I mean? Like whatever. I like to think that it's kind of like I'm there to, you know what I mean, get in the way I get in.
Johnny Knoxville, that's a dangerous guy. That's a dangerous guy.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
musically, I think that's a good place to be.
yeah, musically.
Yeah, nothing else. Nothing
Music.
else.
Yeah.
So like moving to like how you guys work together, how I'm really just impressed like with how the chemistry feels on this record. So like why do you think there's such a creative synergy between the two of you?
I just feel like Squatter, like he like the little brother I always wanted type shit. Like you know what I mean? Like he attentive. You know what I'm saying? He good at what he do. You know what I'm saying? And he just he a kindred spirit. Brown had put me on them a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? And he because I didn't know who they was at first. And Danny was playing me this. He like, oh, you don't know who Main Attraction is? I'm like, no, I ain't never heard of him. He's like, oh, listen to this, listen to that, listen to this. I'm like, oh, okay. Them boys got it. You know what I mean? So like when he came around and shit, I'm like, oh yeah, what's up? I'm glad to meet you. And then like as us hanging, we when you in Bruiser Brigade, you kind of got this like vibe. We like the home for misfit children type shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like once you around us and we feel comfortable around you, to get in there and make some music, that ain't nothing because we are talented. You know what I'm saying to begin with. But then it's like from Captain Planet when our powers combine, we could make magic. You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel like it was really nothing. Like one squatter was hanging with us. It was only natural that we make some music together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, anybody over there like will kick it and shit, but I've been like on some music shit. Like it reminded me of ES, like the first time I really was even under any building with y'all and shit. Like that's how me and ES got cool. Like ES was like, so I wanted to record. And it was like, I'll show you where we record. Boom. This song, same time. Now we got a couple songs, shit. Like, yeah, the music, it's like the love, the passion for the music and shit. Like
Yeah,
it's
that's the
too.
glue. That's the glue right there. We all love this music. You know what I'm saying? And we all serious about what we do. You know what I mean? We could laugh and joke and all of that, but no matter what capacity, I feel like that's what make us even better friends. We'll be friends because
Yeah,
I feel like we vibe the same. We got the same personalities, but everybody really serious about what they do musically. So that just make it better when we actually get in the studio after hanging out all day. I feel like the seriousness of how much Squatter take his music serious, I take my music serious, Z and everybody else on the line. So that make it easier for us to work when we actually get to working. We don't really got no people that's like just playing, hanging around. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yes, you guys definitely feel like you just have a level of work ethic and passion for the craft that I hear from everybody really that I've heard from so far from the crew. And so yeah, moving to like third shift specifically here, man, like I love the hell out of this album, like I was saying. I feel like this is the strongest work, J.U.S, that you've put out. and this is among the best like beats Squadda that you've put out. Like I really think all the stuff you were talking about like kind of how you were elevating, trying to feel like and feeling that kind of creative inspiration. Like I really feel it. This is some really strong shit. So like how I'm wondering like how do you feel from your perspectives that your artistry grew or progressed through the making of this record?
I feel like it's natural. You know what I'm saying? Like when you do something, you want to continue to get better. You know what I mean? So it's just like for me, just popping out a couple years ago. A lot of people been at this shit consistently. You know what I'm saying? They whole life. So I got ground to make up. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't the artist, a vocal artist. You know what I'm saying? The rapper the whole time. So I feel like that just I got a little bit more aggressive shit in me just to kind of play catch up. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think where Brown at. You know what I'm saying? I'm not playing no game, so if I want to get to where he at, I got to work that just that much harder. You know what I'm saying? And then like when Squadda was playing his beats, that's not exactly what I'm used to rapping on. But I was like, yo, I was feeling it. The vibe was there, and I'm like, yo, I gotta step my game up to make this, translate to the fans I just got, and then the new people I'm trying to get. So I guess that's where the elevation part come in. I was trying to just take everything to the next level and to the next level and to the next level. That's just kind of like my personality. I always want to get better and better.
Yeah, man, it was crazy because like J.U.S is way different than anybody I've ever produced for. So it's like I think working with J.U.S in this thing was just kind of like it's like it's something I've been waiting for. Honestly, it's been like a long time since I wanted to come to Detroit. It's been a long time since I've been really wanting to be a producer. It's been a long time since I really had somebody on the caliber of J.U.S's. I don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to speak too crazy, but like this is definitely a once in a lifetime type thing. So, and I knew that when I was there, how easily we were working together. Remind me of a lot of just rapper, producer, artist dynamics. And it was something like, damn, like this is something that a lot of people don't get to have. So this thing has been it's like reimagining my whole career working with J.U.S. It's kind of like, okay, everything can and will start here. So this is kind of crazy.
Man, that's great. That's so well said. And like, yeah, I feel like the way this record sounds is so distinct to anything that anybody will hear all year. Like there's these like really strong drums, like really throughout. There's like always these strong drums, really strange kind of samples and sounds. Like what was the kind of, if you could describe it, like the type of sonic experience, kind of vibe or something, musical sound that you wanted people to hear on this record?
That's another thing, at least for me, it's like it's definitely was something that I didn't really feel like was done before in the way that we attached it, but it wasn't even planned. Like J.U.S kept saying, it was natural. Like I may have had a sound in mind of like the production and stuff, but what was chosen was J.U.S. Like J.U.S chose everything. Like there's no way I can even really come at him. Like I can even try to come at artists and be like, hey, you should work on this beat, work on this beat. They're not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it. J.U.S chose all the tracks that ended up making it on here and was really vocal about the ones that he felt was super strong. And so like really it was like it was a natural thing. Whereas at the same time, I definitely wanted to achieve something sonically, you could say that just was like it's not there. Like that's the thing. Like I don't want to come at the same thing that's happening. It's like way more funner and way more cooler to come at something where it's like you can't really compare it to another album type shit, but it does flow in line with other albums. You could put it up against any album and it'll play really good. But I can't say there's an album that sounds like Third Shift.
Absolutely. Like J.U.S, like talking about the beats you selected, like what were you looking for in all the packs of records that Squad sent you?
Well, he was sending beats. I picked one or two. But like when I finally get in front of him, what I'm saying, he'll play it, and I'm kind of looking at him. You know what I mean? I could be like, I'm seeing how he kind of nodding his head, and then I'm vibing out. Just trying to figure out how I'm gonna come on it. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, I would just pick these tracks. You know what I'm saying? That like I'm like, oh, like he would play me a bunch of stuff. And let me tell you this, I like all the beats Squadda do. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'm not the I ain't ashamed to say this. I'm not the best rapper. You know what I'm saying? I can rap, you know what I'm saying? But it's like I I don't really just view myself as like I'm not even the best rapper in my crew. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. So it's like I gotta pick the beat that like I can get off on. And Danny told me this a long time ago. He said, I'm a body. He said the beat ain't gonna body me. I'm a body the beat. And that really hit me. Sometimes I think back to that and I'm like, yeah, I'm not letting no beat body me. You know what I'm saying? I body beats. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I could sit there and listen to a beat for an hour. I love the damn beat. And then I'll be like, man, I can't do nothing with it. Squad probably looking like, man, that was it. You was vibing. I'm like, I know I was vibing, but I was just enjoying the beat. You know what I'm saying? Every beat you this motherfucker play me, dog, I'll be like, this cool as hell. I could just listen to this. I listen to instrumentals. You know what I'm saying? So I could just play instrumentals. I could play beats with no raps all day. You know what I mean? I throw some instrumentals on while I'm at work or something. You know what I'm saying? Just let them bitches play. So I could listen to a beat. You know what I'm saying? So I loved it. All the beats he played for me, dog. He played me a lot of beats too, upwards of 100. You know what I'm saying? Beats. We just went through everything. I pull up some more, pull up some more, pull up some more. And he got the stash. He got the hard drive. He got tons and tons of beats. So it's just like I had to pick the ones that I knew I was gonna shine on. You know what I'm saying? Cause like, like if you, I don't know what type, I wanted to say a different name, but I ain't got a name drop. But like a certain rapper, if you cold as hell, you could body any beat. You know what I'm saying? Like put the beat on and you gonna make it happen. Like Fat Ray is like that. Like it don't, you could put on any type of beat. Fat Ray gonna smash that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that guy. So I gotta put on the beat that I could smash. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta be able to smash the beat. So that was
Yeah,
how I looked at it, dog. And then I was and through the process of picking them, I was finding them boys like, ooh, I can smash this. I'm gonna sound good on here. You know what I'm saying? So that was basically it. Like me and Squad, if we hang out, man, he could play beats all day. I could smoke weed and just listen to him play beats. I might not pick nothing. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we just having a good time playing the beats. But if we keep playing them, I'm gonna find the ones that I feel like I could bring something to that beat, be the last instrument. My voice be the last instrument that we add on top to just make it sweet. You know what I'm saying?
and I want what they call piggyback and whatnot. Like I love that I'm seeing in certain reviews of it that they're calling it a regional record. Some of the songs have a regional sound, and
Yeah,
that just makes me so happy because a lot of people can't get that if they try. Like, and we not trying. Like, we come in and being ourselves, and like
yeah.
it expressed itself through the record. It's
You know,
amazing.
yeah, it's crazy they tell us because you from where you from, I'm from where
Yeah.
I'm from, and we just making music. So if
We
it come
make
out regional, it
music.
is, and then
Yeah,
like Detroit,
Midwest, yeah, Midwest,
Oakland, and
West.
Detroit got a thing,
yeah.
man. And it like
Yeah, we
the dude that wrote
specifically
the
got a
Pitchfork
thing.
article, he picked up on it, and a few other people that
Yeah,
reviewed it or had comments on it and saying it, like you know what I mean. And we
yeah,
both abstract dudes, like we not just the
exactly,
typical people
exactly.
from our region, but if you can identify that sound, it ain't because we tried to do it. It's just natural that he from Oakland and I'm from Detroit. You know what I'm saying? The Oakland and Detroit
Facts,
folks been hanging out for years, man. You know what I'm saying?
facts, big facts. Oakland
Yeah,
and
no, that's really cool.
it's crazy. Oakland, Detroit specifically has always had that thing. So like the fact that yeah, the Pitchfork said that. I've saw it a couple other places, and it's like it's just funny. It's just I love that. I love that because I grew up on what they would call regional music. Like I feel like when I was coming up with Main Attractions, a lot of our shit was just like yeah, like J.U.S said, we abstract dudes. Like my shit just sounded like just music. Like I always aimed for just music sounding shit, and anything that did sound kind of like local or homegrown house music, like it never really did a lot for us. Like it seemed like people always wanted the more abstract stuff, the more just worldwide sounding shit.
Mm,
So it's just hilarious to see these words pop up when we're not trying, like we're just being us.
mm-hmm.
We
That's really cool. Yeah.
I've elevated. I've elevated. Like I've grown up.
And like I think when I had Guilty Simpson from Detroit as well as Uncommon NASA, when they were on, I think late last year, they were talking about specifically like how unique Detroit is as like kind of a music city because it's close to some of these like main hubs like New York, etc. But like it always seemed to have this like perspective where people would really be, like you said, like looking for music that's like not just one thing. Like it's very diverse. And I feel the same way I've heard from people from Oakland. So I can see how they have like that spiritual abstract connection. That's cool that it like became so you guys kind of laser focused on that so much that people just think it's on purpose and like it's got a regional sound, like you said. That's crazy.
Shout out to Guilty Simpson. You know, that's my OG. He know what he talking about. You know what I'm saying? For
Oh
sure.
yeah.
But if I could say anything to it though, when I was growing up, it was all Oakland music, the Bay Area music. You know what I'm saying? When I was a young man, like high school age, middle school age, like that was all that was the really sound that we was bumping here in Detroit. Like we was bumping RBL Posse, Don't Give Me No Bammer Weed, Richie Rich, E40 in the Click. That's all. Them was the most popular shits. You know what I'm saying? Too Short. You know what I'm saying? Like that was what when I was a younger man. Like that was all we was listening to. That was the most popular shit. Like I remember one summer. I don't know what summer that came out, but like no, Don't Give Me No Bammer Weed. Just like every car coming down the block would be banging that song. You know what I'm saying? That's when people used to really be into that sound, having motherfucking 1010s in the trunk, 615s in the trunk. Don't give me
Mhm.
no Bammer Weed. We gonna
Yeah.
smoke that shit in the SFC. Like that was like the most popular song in the world in Detroit. Like when I
Mhm.
was a kid.
That's
That's all.
sick.
That's hard.
Yeah. And then, like I say, the street lords niggas, you know what I'm saying? Like they was fucking with E40 and Be Legit and all of them. Like, well, they had I remember we'll go on Liver Noise on Big Block Records. They had E40 and Be Legit and them and Sugar T on a mural on the side of the building. Like, you know what I mean? So that's where I get it from. You know what I'm saying? That's when I interpret the Oakland shit. Like when I feel like, and that's where the Detroit sound kind of comes from. People got it backwards. You know what I'm saying? They think that like I seen some young kids arguing online like the Oakland dudes is sounding like us. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, really, I feel like we sound like them. You know what I'm saying? But y'all just too young to really know. You know what I'm saying? Like what was going on and you know what I'm saying, 94, 95, 96, like that we was bumping all Bay Area music if you see if it seemed like to me.
Mm.
And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. Like I feel like I was the first dude in Oakland. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying how I feel because I was fucking with Danny Brown back in them days in 2011s and 12s. I feel like I was the first dude in Oakland playing Doughboys Cash Out. Like when I was first hearing that shit, I was like, man, this shit
It's
crazy.
natural that y'all should like that shit because the
That's
Doughboys is
hey,
the young
bro,
niggas
come
of the Street
on.
Lords, and the Street
That's what
Lords
I'm
is
saying.
the young niggas of
The
E40 and Be
OG.
Legit.
Come on now, come on.
That's how it worked, dog. Niggas
I
don't
felt
really
like
know
I was
their
the
history
first
type
nigga.
shit.
As soon as I heard it, I was like, bro, this shit crazy. Like
It gotta
so,
resonate. You know what I'm saying? I imagine when you a young
the
nigga from
first
Oakland
time I
heard
heard that
Doughboys
shit,
Cash Out, it
bro,
gotta resonate.
Bro, I'm playing that shit on the plane to go do shows and shit. Like 2012 and shit, Chances Make Champions. Like my first time hearing that shit, I was like, oh shit. Like I was instantly hooked. And like you said, it makes sense. Like for us to instantly hear the shit and be like, oh man, like, but they started getting played and a lot of Detroit, that's probably like 2 years later. So I
Mm.
was it happened, but as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh no, that's the shit.
Yeah,
Like,
it's got to. That's why I feel like just on some natural shit, it's got to resonate,
mhm.
dog. It's like generations, the crews it came. So it ain't like one
Yeah.
stole from the other or one stole from another. It's just niggas
Mhm.
from Oakland coming to Detroit, niggas from Detroit going out to Oakland and having like this
Mhm.
little thing going on. And
It's natural.
yeah, it's natural. It's real natural, dog. We the
Yeah,
D in the
yeah.
Bay is the D in the Bay is cousin.
Yeah, it's
You
too
know what I'm
late.
saying?
It's too late to be that we started this, we started that. Like it's too late. Like we
Yeah,
already stand. We already
yeah.
won. So it
That's
don't make no
awesome.
sense to argue that shit.
And like, speaking of the beats, JUS that you selected, like, I mean, sure that there's certain rappers that like can theoretically rap over everything, but like, I mean, at least as a listener perspective, like I only hear as a listener whatever you put out, right? So like
Right, right,
I don't
right.
it doesn't really mean much to me if you don't rap over some beat because I never heard it. I only hear what you put out and what you fucking put out here. You body that shit. And I
Mm-hmm.
think like specifically what was so impressive is that like your flow is so like I don't know, very distinct. It's very like precise. You find these like really intricate pockets within these beats that are like pretty fucking nutty. Like Cheese, Cheese, Cheese is probably like my favorite song on the record. And like the
Mm-hmm.
hook is so catchy. The beat is so like it's such an earworm, everything about it, beat wise, rap wise. And you mentioned that these weren't beats that you typically like would rap on like previously. So like given the unique grooves, the colorful instrumentals, like as a rapper, how did these beats kind of help you push your pen to new heights?
Um, Well, cheese specifically, dog. Like when I heard the beat, I'm like, "Oh shit, this a dog." And it's like I really thought I'm in my back of my head. I'm like, "This a Danny beat." Like Danny would pick that beat. Like I'll be in the studio with him when he be picking beats or be listening to beats and shit. You know, I'm like, he would definitely pick this beat because I was thinking about like it might be too crazy for me. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to limit myself at the same time. So I listened to it a bunch of times. You know what I'm saying? And I had to like get this little I got the little bot for the hook, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, all right, let me figure out how I could switch the shit up from the hook to make a verse so it'll be interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like reel you cast it out, reel them in type shit. That's what I was thinking. You know, but that beat is amazing, dog. You know what I mean? Like I ain't about to sit here and say, you know, I just knew it what it was gonna be, it was gonna be. No, it was like some I'm like, I like the beat. Let me experiment with it and try it and just see. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't try, you would never, you know what I'm saying, you would never find out. Like, and if that doesn't go back to what I was saying, like, I'm not gonna get bodied by the beat, but I also can't be intimidated by the beat. If I like the beat, let me try it. You know what I'm saying? If it don't work out, then nobody hears the song. It ain't no harm, no foul. You know what I'm saying? But you know, cheese is one of my favorite songs on the tape too. So you know, I knew what it was going to be.
Yeah.
If I just experimented and tried it and it worked, you know what I'm saying? That's what you get. Like you gonna miss all the shots you don't take type shit. So I heave one up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love the diversity on the record because there's so many different kind of styles, different kind of grooves that you found a way to just body, like really, like particularly just finding a way to even write on these beats feels impressive in and of itself, let alone what you're saying, whatever the punchlines may be.
I try
It's
to I
it's
try to
that.
I try to be more so like a poet though. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like I'm a rapper. Like I ain't the best rapper, but I'm a hell of a poet though. You know what I'm saying? I know the English language and I know, you know what I'm saying, how to convey an idea or emotion, you know what I'm saying, into the song. So I'm gonna take my poetry and put it on there, you know what I mean? And hopefully that invoke, you know, the listener to just keep listening. You know what I'm saying? Let me say something to keep them in there, keep them listening. You know what I mean? So you know, that might have a little bit to do with it too. You know what I mean?
No, you had some great word choices. I can definitely hear yeah, it's like that precision. That's the word I'd say. It's like very like clear the way you rap. It's
Mm,
uh it's really impressive. And
thank
like
you.
I mentioned before, like the drums in particular on this record and really like for Squadda, like your whole career, like whenever you've produced beats, like the drums are always like really fucking sharp, really fucking booming, really fucking banging. And like on this record, it's really punchy, adds so much energy and groove. They do a lot of the talking. So, like, could you give us a peek into your process a bit, like how you typically kind of program your drums and like create these beats in general?
I think from way back, I think the the advantage I have personally on myself is that I've been doing it for a long time. And so like starting back, it was a thing of just emulating hearing cars go past, like kind of how J.U.S was saying. He said some shit like 10 10s or yeah, it said some 15s and shit, just like this.
Hmm.
And motherfuckers had to have 4 5 16, 4
Yeah,
5 15s in the back. Throw them in Vegas, man. Make that shit slam. Wow. You want to hear
like
that trunk rattling? Tear the trunk up.
that's my life. That's growing up. Like that's all I would hear. So it's kind of like when I first started making, especially when I first started making beats like 2007, 2008, like it was crazy outside. So it was like that was always what I wanted to make happen. Like I was always imagining beats when I make them that they was just coming out of cars and shit. So like, but the Sonics just like worldwide wasn't really on that. Like it was all about being clean and pristine. Like you would have to go get these speakers to make this to make the shit sound like that. But nowadays, like throughout time, throughout history, I think the producers they're getting younger and shit. So they kind of on the same shit. They just want the bass to be super loud and super beating and shit like that. So like most songs sound crazy without a system. Like most songs, it just sounds wow wow wow. Like I used to have to do certain shit to my headphones, my MP3 players and shit to make shit sound super good like that. So that's always been my thinking when I've been making beats. I always just imagine it coming out of a car when I was younger and shit like that. And it's still the same way. And shout out to Robert Kirby. That's my guy who I mix all my shit with, all my stuff. Like he knows what I'm looking for at this point. We've been working together for about 4 or 5, 6 years. There's a studio that shut down, Fantasy Studios out of Berkeley. They did the "Don't Worry, Be Happy" was recorded in there. A lot of there's like this classic kind of techno type shit was made in there, but it's a record breaking studio. Green Day Dookie was recorded in there.
Wow.
A lot of rock shit that came out the Gilman scene and shit that was recorded there. They just shut down, but I met Robert Kirby in Fantasy, and he was one of the engineers that I was working with. That I was just happy to be in that studio with, and I was like, once they shut down, like I gotta keep somebody from out there. And Kirby was always one of my favorites out of there. So, but it's just all about the visualization of like what goal you're going for, and I just always think about cars when I make beats.
Yeah, I mean, like I shout out to Kirby because like that's a particular aesthetic I love so much about your music is that like and it shows up on this record is that it's got these like really pretty sounds and it could theoretically sound good like really clean, but there's a certain kind of grittiness that all this shit has and that's in the details of like however this shit is mixed and engineered and it really sounds like
True.
really special because of that. Like you got the track like take what's it, the friendship interlude? Yeah, like that
Mhm.
song, that's like a beautiful like
Man.
yeah, it's a beautiful little interlude. There's so many like different that's what I love about this album, man. It's just so much variety. Got some like huge banger shits. You got some like really weird, like fun stuff. Like it's a lot. And I like especially too like the way the songs are stitched together. Like there's a real kind of pace to it. Like they kind of flow into each other really nice. And so like, you know, I feel like overall this like feels like a milestone achievement for the both of you. Like what do you hope people take away from listening to this record in the sense of like what do you hope people learn about you as artists or how do you want them to feel like after they played this?
I just want them to know, you know what I mean? Bruiser Brigade, you feel me? It's Bruiser Brigade. That's what we the gang, and we got a lot to offer. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't the first time, or it ain't gonna be the last time we put out something super dope. So, you know what I'm saying? Just hey, once you finish third shift, since that's the latest one, go listen to my stories. Got stories. Go listen to Fat Ray, Santa Barbara. Go listen to any Danny Brown album. Go listen to any Zalubra's album. So basically, this ain't the first. This ain't the first music, and it ain't gonna be the last music. So just enjoy this while it's hot, and then we'll be back for seconds in a minute.
It's a fact. It's like it's such a good representation of the time too, like of what's going on in the Bruce Brigade and just like where it is. Like it's definitely a milestone of like catching everyone at a great time period. Like Fat Ray went crazy on the album. Like everyone was on the album.
Mm,
Like Quentin the God Ahmad. Like this is like a great introspective, like look behind the curtain of what's going on over there, with myself included. Like so,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, it's a great milestone. I think
It just show you like you squatted down with us. You know what I'm saying? So
it's a
he
great
just
time
adding
period.
to the pot. You know what I'm saying? It's just another
Mhm.
talented person that's in the mix and locked in with the game.
Fat Ray, man, that NASCAR feature, that's probably like my favorite, one of my favorite moments, one of my favorite features on that. Fuck, like we need speaking of records, we need that Santa Barbara follow up. We need
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It's on the way. It's on the
Mm.
way. Fat Ray cooking up. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
He a slow chef, man. That's all. You know what I mean? Like that's what I tell the people. Like, oh, come on, he ain't agree yet. I'm like, yo, you know what I'm saying? When you cook good food, you cook it up. You know what I'm saying? It takes time. That's why
Yeah,
people get tired of people. That's why people get. You know what I'm saying? Artists, you love them, and then you ain't thinking about them no more. You know what I mean? That ain't gonna never happen with an artist like Fat Ray because he take his time when he cooking up his food. You feel me? And then when
mhm.
you hear it, it's gonna be like that's why it's so mind blowing because it's really thought out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I think overall Bruiser Brigade, all you guys have done a good job of balancing like being releasing enough to where you're like in the rotation without like saturating yourself. Because
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
there's too many
You could
examples
hurt
these
yourself like
days.
you could hurt yourself like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh
if you just
yeah.
forcing it and forcing it and forcing it. You know what I'm saying? And when Fat Ray is like I say, he one of the best rappers that I ever heard of. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I put him in the room with any rapper, Jay-Z, Nas, Lil Wayne, don't matter. Like he one of the goats like that. For real, for real. If you listen to Fat Ray raps, he could compete with any rapper of any genre of any time. So like them lyrics you just don't get in there and freestyle a bunch of shit and hope people like
Yeah,
it. That ain't
yeah,
it. Like them rhymes is really like handcrafted, line for line, bar for bar. The scheme, you know what I'm saying? The scheme shit, like man, it's a lot of work to go into that. If you want to be an MC on that caliber with your lyrics and shit, it just you just that shit. It's not microwave music. It's not.
right.
Yeah.
Like,
And so moving past looking in the future now, like what are there any upcoming projects like tour dates, merch, anything that fans should be looking out from the both of you or a solo artist?
We got a couple shows coming up. You know what I'm saying? I think we're gonna be in Chicago on the 6th of this month, and then we got. I think
Are
this weekend we
both of you
got.
going to be in Chicago?
I don't think Squadda gonna make this one. I
Okay.
don't know.
not
Maybe
yet. We'll be out there in a minute.
maybe you know what I mean. You ain't gonna
We
let the
ain't
fan.
yet.
Maybe I got the surprise up my sleeve for the fans in
Yeah.
the shy. You know what I mean. You
Yeah,
never
yeah.
know.
Shout out Rich Jones helping organize that one. I was
I'm
at
gonna
that
go
same
out.
venue. Like I said, that shit is really fucking cool. I've never been to a venue like that. It's like a mansion. It's crazy.
We got the Bruiser Wolf gonna do the Ham Trammick Festival. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna come out there with him. You know what I mean? Then we doing. I think we're gonna stop by Arts Beats and East this weekend. That's a big festival in Michigan. We're gonna do something with my job. Shout out to North Coast and House of Dank. I think I'm gonna stop in to do something with them. And then we got a couple more things lined up. You know what I'm saying? As far as shows, you know what I mean? I think we're gonna do a tape release for this for third shift. I got my man Sav. He working on a tape for us and shit. We're gonna do like a little limited edition tape, might have a little extra song on there or something if people copy tape, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just keep your eyes open, man. There's a lot of stuff going on. We definitely cooking up every freaking day. So just know that it's not no stop and go type stuff, man. We rolling, we rolling.
Are you guys planning on potentially releasing anything more together?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. We got to follow it up. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if
Absolutely.
it's necessarily gonna be a sequel. How like Lord of the
Right.
Streams gonna be a sequel. So I don't know if Third Shift gonna be a sequel. Like we might just have to write a whole new movie. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Right. But
We
no,
definitely working and stuff.
the response is crazy.
I got a handful of Squadda B produced unreleased tracks that could potentially go on my next album, or you know what I'm saying, if we keep building on that, we might just have a whole nother album.
Yeah, we working. We working. I ain't gonna stop. The people love it too much. Like that's one thing as I get older is I'm really trying to cherish like whatever the people want, like I'm gonna always give an extra
Give
ear
them
to
some
it.
more. Let's give them some more.
You
If
know
they
what I
like it,
mean?
let's give them some
You
more.
know
You
what
know
I
what I
mean?
mean?
So the people talking right now. So ain't no way we're not gonna give it to them.
Yeah, I think the combination is just too special to just leave it at that. That's my take, selfish, but it's true. I mean, like I said, man, the response to this record has been great, and I just think like something about the style combination, the way you rap J.U.S. and these kind of beats are just really fucking fun, really fucking engaging, and they're really memorable. Like so much like I keep mentioning Rich Jones because I was just in Chicago. That's why like I was spending a lot of time with him. But like we
That's
were
my
talking
boy.
about
Shout out to
this,
Rich Jones.
yeah, we were talking about this record, and he's just like, man, sometimes I just get like an intrusive thought. It's just like take flight, I take flight. It's like shit is just it's so many of these lines, so many of these beats are just like running in my head, and that's like a really good sign. So I mean, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh man,
Thank you so
thank you
much
for
for
having us,
creating
man.
this, man.
Thank you
Really
for
appreciate
having
the
us,
time.
man. Being patient and being really responsible with our time and your own time. Like we really do appreciate that. And I'm big,
Appreciate you, my dog.
yeah, for real, man. Big fan.
Yeah, thank you so much, and we'll definitely stay in touch. And I just wish you all the best moving forward. And yeah, hope you have a good rest of the night.
Yep. Thank you, bro. Yeah, whatever
Cool,
you need,
man.
man, just let us know, man.
Please, please.
We got you.
Yeah,
Got you. Whatever you
likewise.
want. All right. Salute.
Peace. So there we have it, another episode of the Rap Music Plug podcast presented by QLC TV. I hope this episode gave you some new perspectives and insights into what the greatest art form known to man in hip-hop music has to offer. If you want to support the show in the most meaningful way possible, it would be my absolute honor to have you as a patron in the new Rap Music Plug podcast Patreon. Through this Patreon, you will be getting exclusive content such as bonus episodes, exclusive album recommendations, exclusive playlists, early access to episodes, and more. And above all, though, you will be able to support the show directly in a way that will not only justify the crazy amount of time I spend on this show already, but allow me to cover some of the expenses related to supporting all of these great artists that we cover on the show, through the website, and will allow us to sustain and build on this amazing growth that the RMPP has experienced recently. So if you have any questions about any of the Patreon stuff, or just want to keep tabs on the show, interact with me on rap music and all the great stuff that we can talk about, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at rapmusicplugpod, or shoot me an email at qlctv.podcast@gmail.com. You can also rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify as well. But that's enough self-promotion for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Peace.